stadium. So this week's rolling along. A lot of work to do, making progress, but a long way to go. So let's keep stringing these days together.
That's the NFL rules base, right? You can't do pads 3 days in a row.
You could do pads 3 days in a row, but then there's some other. It's We're not going to. We're in shells today.
What stands out to you in particular that you want to clean up today?
Everything, yeah, just a lot of communication techniques, adjustments. Yes,
How have you seen the install of the new offense coming along?
we've installed our offense, defense, special teams at this point. We don't have everything in anything. We're putting it in the time frame and schedule that we talked about with, as usual, some modifications from day to day, depending on whatever those individual circumstances are on that particular day. So just monitor
Coach,
it day
talk
by day.
about Mac Wilson's camp so far. What do you think of his performance?
Yeah, Mac's done a good job for us. Came in this spring, was really an outstanding worker all spring, and learning some different things that we do here. But he's adapted well. It's been productive on defense and in the kicking game so far. So good. Looking forward to seeing him out there.
Through the first 2 days of padded practice, the offense ran a lot of outside zone. When you're looking at outside zone, what are some of the keys you look at as what comprises a successful outside zone
Well, it would depend on what defense they're in and what formation we're in and things like that. When you put it in one play, you emphasize it and run that, and then you go to something else and then you emphasize that. So just happened to work out the sequence that we put in the zone runs first, but we'll put in plenty of gap plays and we'll run those too.
What was your reaction to the Dolphins ruling yesterday?
Yeah, I'm not really worried about that. We're just trying to have a good training camp here.
Did you have any idea the Dolphins were tampering with your starting quarterback that season?
Yeah, focused on training camp here. That's all in the past.
Bill, when we come out here, a lot of times you see special teamers working on this field, maybe some extra instruction for some of the young players. Schooler, Mitchell, got a couple of guys the last few days. When they come into camp and they have a guy like Cody Davis, Justin Bedford, Matthew Slater, people like that along with your coaches, how important are the impressions of those players? Cody in particular, I guess, is a guy that you really know about.
Yeah, I think any young player can learn from the veteran players at his position, whatever that position is, whether it's special teams or offense, defense. Um, Especially good players like the ones you referred to. Those guys are very good, and any young player that would play their positions would be missing a great opportunity to not really pay attention to how those guys play and what they do and their techniques, and talk to them and ask them questions about how they read things, how they see things like that. So our guys do a really good job of that. All the way across the board, offense, defense, special teams. You see veteran players working with younger players all the time, trying to help them, especially the ones that want help. Guys don't really want help, then that doesn't. It's not going to go very far. But rookies that ask questions get information, and veterans are very good at providing it in all areas. But yeah, certainly in the kicking game. Cody, Justin, Matthew. Those guys have seen a lot. They know a lot. They're a great resource.
What do you see from Kevin Harris so far? I know it's early, but how does he seem to be picking things up?
Good, good. We do a lot more in the passing game than they did at South Carolina, but that's pretty common. The same thing for Strong. There's just a lot more to the passing game in the NFL than there is in most colleges. So that's been the big adjustment. Not that there aren't changes in the running game, but there are. And then I'd say the kicking game, that's another area for players like that they need to have a role in order to help their opportunity to be active on game day and make the roster. And most of them haven't done much of that. So those are the two big areas for, I'd say, most young players at that position.
So you talked about the
jump from year 1 to year 2 with a guy like Mack, what have you. What do you see on the defensive side with a guy like Christian Barmore? What are some of the things that he can get better at or is more comfortable with in year 2?
Yeah, same thing. I mean, again, first of all, being in condition, having a good off-season program is much better than what most rookies have, coming in after the draft. Knowing our defense, knowing his teammates and how to communicate with them, and then knowing what the offense does and having a better idea of quicker recognition, reads, anticipation, things like that.
How was Anthony Jennings up to you this spring and summer? Obviously, a guy who didn't see the field last year with the injury.
Yeah, well, I mean, the big thing with Anthony is he's out there. So he's been out there every day. He's working, and of course, if you're working, you're improving. And so it's good to have him out there, and he's made progress every day. He'll get some, good opportunities coming up in the near future, and along with some other guys at that position. We'll see how it turns out. But yeah, it's good to have him out here for sure.
What have you seen from Ty Montgomery in the different spots that you've tried him this year, off season?
Yeah, Ty's another player that had a real good off season for us. Again, this is a player that we're getting to know, trying to get familiar with what his skill set is, what he can do. He's pretty versatile. Looks like he can do a lot. And we'll see how all that goes together. But he's a smart kid, learns well. We'll see how he does in the kicking game, and in some different roles offensively, and just go from there.
Nelson Aguilar in his second off season now. How would you see his second year, say, a little bit more comfortable with maybe better results in the practice field?
Yeah, it's big jump. Yeah, big jump for him. He's here all off season. Had a really good off season. Was productive. Had a real good spring of training. He's come out here. He's made made plays. Obviously down the field, which is very important, but also in other areas. Very few mental errors, very few mistakes. So yeah, he's looked good.
2 final questions. Today, but we know how special Army-Navy is to you. What was your reaction when the game was awarded to Gillette Stadium?
Yeah, great. No, I think it'll be a great experience for the people in this area. It's a classic. There's no other game like that, and watching it on TV is great, but being there in person is just that's really special, and this is a great venue for it. And I think for Navy to be a great opportunity to travel, obviously, but see the things that are important to the Navy, Newport, Navy, Navy Yard in Boston, and things like that. So it's just kind of a lot of Navy connections here in this general area, and I think that they plan some events and things like that. I'm not sure exactly. It's not really my thing, but it sounds like that it's going to be more than just a game, for Navy to make the trip up here. So yeah, I think it'd be a great environment, great opportunity, and it'd be great for the fans in New England to see that classic. It's really a classic.
It's early, but it's a long way off. Do you like anyone in that game?
I don't know who I like, but I know who I'm pulling for. Yeah, no doubt about that. Okay, great. Thank you.